All right. Welcome, ladies and gents, to some mega random low elo legends. This is an interesting one because we saw the player in the blue before. Now, I did not upload him to YouTube or anything, but it was because his strategy was so efficient, so strong that the opponent tapped out last time. So this guy here has played about 300 games, is at 650 elo, and always plays with the Sicilians, which is not really a civilization you see as a pick civ type of civ. Like you see a lot of people pick Franks and Britons, and you can go down the list of civs people one trick. Sicilian one tricks, not really many of them out there. It's a relatively new civ. You have the building called the Donjon, and then you can produce a unit from that called the Sergeant, and then sergeants can build more donjons. It's a little weird. It's a little wacky. It's definitely very unique. And then here in the red, we have Drahoslav, who has played a lot as the Bohemians. I looked through his profile like real quick before this game. It's not only as the Bohemians, but maybe 80% of the games have been played with the Bohemians. So we'll see what happens. Map being mega random means that they're going to have to adapt a little bit more. And so from what I can see here, there's double berries. There's one boar. Oh, there's two boars. Oh, three boars. Whoa, there's tons of food. Okay, so you've got standard amount of sheep or pigs or geese, whatever. The only other thing that really stands out is that there's not a ton of gold. There's maybe two pieces of gold, two 4-tile golds next to each base. Sizable amounts of stone, but not a lot of gold overall. Now, here's what I think about the Donjon strategy, and maybe this guy won't go for it again. Maybe I'm confused and I'm misremembering stuff. But the thing about the Donjon strat, guys, is that the Donjon is, it looks a lot more fierce than it really is. A feudal age tower has 750 HP. A Donjon, and chat, correct me if I'm wrong here, I think it has like 950 HP. It's nothing crazy, but it's got a little more. But a tower takes up one tile. So let me find something that's a tile here. This is a tile. That's a boar on a tile, okay? But I forgot the name of it already. The Donjon takes up 4 tiles. So when you look at it as a noob, you're going to be like, oh, God, that's terrifying. And it's really strong. And you're never going to think that you can rush it down or fight it. But I think if we see that strategy from Blue, who has decided not to make a lumber camp, not to make a mill, not to make anything just yet, I think that the fear factor is what makes the strategy strong. And they do look cool. And it is really cool that you can make a unit that then builds more of them. But yeah. All right, so I've tried my very best to hold back from balanced discussions and rants over the past 2 months. I still will do it, but I decided, you know what? Maybe you're being a little too much with these things, T90, and maybe this isn't good for content. However, I'm going to break my rule here for just 1 second, and I want to say something about the Sicilians, okay? I did complain a lot about the Civ when it came out, and I'm beginning to like it a little bit more, okay? Same with Burgundians. But something that kind of bothers me is that when it came out, it wasn't seen as very strong, and it had all these unique bonuses, like the Donjons and the Sergeants, for example. And so I was thinking, okay, this Civ isn't coming off as strong. What the devs are going to do is they're going to buff that, because it's going to make this civilization, which plays out in a unique way, you know, a little stronger, right? But then they buff their Cavalier, and that irks me, right? The Hallberg upgrade, it might be historically accurate. I have no clue. I know it's strong, and I know it makes Sicilians more competitive. But it's kind of sad to me that the whole Donjon Sergeant thing isn't really even a part of their competitive repertoire. Does anyone understand what I mean by that? It's not the biggest deal, you know, it's not a hill I'm going to die on. But if a Civ has a unique unit that can build buildings like that, I just figured maybe they could buff those things, and maybe that Civ just plays out more uniquely. It feels like they just wanted the Civ to not be seen as weak, and they were like, what can we do? Boom, Cavalier. Like, come on, man. Let's be a bit more creative here. So, I don't know if they'll ever make any changes or agree with me on that, but that's kind of my thought. Anyways, Blue's on the way up, and Blue is going to do something in the feudal age. Now, there's another argument to be made with that. Like, if they make Donjons and Sergeants stronger, that's a slippery slope, because it feels like that has very little balance to it, right? Like, if that ends up being strong, maybe it's too strong and there's no in between. So maybe that was in the back of their minds is, oh, God, villager goes down for blue. Good news is she kind of fell into the boar, so it's actually extra meat right there. Yeah, you chop her up. That's right. Dinner. They were busy balancing AoE4, so they couldn't care about donjons. I actually don't think that's true. I get why a lot of people think that. But the Forgotten Empires team, I don't think... I actually don't know if Forgotten Empires deals with balance with AoE4. I should maybe check that. But yeah, obviously Sicilians were out a long time before AoE4 came out. Okay, so for some reason, blue is going to drop houses over here. Which seems very weird to me. Why would you run over here and build houses? Like, what's the purpose of making houses there as opposed to houses here? Anyways, blue did scout where red is. Almost lost the scout. And then red isn't even on the way to feudal age yet. Red was a little later to taking the meat from the boars. But red also has more vills. So I think it'll end up being rather even in the end, but who knows? And again, blue is getting wheelbarrow. Blue got the feudal age wood tech. Could maybe get the farm tech. Actually, really important you get the farm tech with Sicilians because you get more food on your farms after the farm technologies. All right. Blue is making a line of houses. God, I love low elo legends. Okay, let's compare the approach from high elo to low elo for just a second, all right? We're on our way to feudal age. What are we going to do with our attack? We need to go to feudal age for some reason. Let's prep a barracks. Let's go to gold. Let's prep for some man-at-arms and archers. Or let's not go to gold. Let's get a lot of food, and we're going to attack in feudal because it's the first age that we can really do a lot of damage. It's a very open map. We would hate to get killed here. Now we're at low elo. Let's go to feudal age because we happen to have the food for it. Let's click wheelbarrow because that looks cool. I kind of need houses right now. Let's make a giant line over here. Just like a line of houses so far away from the TC. I don't know if it's going to fake red out or what. But funnily enough, here comes red with the scout. And now red might be super confused. You know what would be funny, though? What if red goes feudal, makes an army, and attacks this area? What if the house distraction actually works? And John just says, I disagree with T90, but I love me always getting T90 DE rant about it. It is so fun. Hey, I have a good rant in me every now and then. All right, Wheel is going to probably... No, Wheel's not on the way for red. Red's getting loom, though. Red heard about the villagers going down at blue's base. And I really don't know what the plan is. Bohemians do get the mining camp upgrades for free. But this is slowish feudal into nothing right now for both of them. Now, what I recall from blue before, as blue is going to bring the scout over, is that blue made a line of donjons to protect an area and then dropped a castle in that area in Castle Age. So the plan that I saw from blue before could definitely still happen. Okay. Blue says, time to go for some farms. So here we go. They're all going to farm up after the berries are gone. I like it. All right. There they go. Farming. These villagers decide, you know what? There's actually still berries here. Blue doesn't have a mill hotkey, so blue needs to wait a second. There we go. Click it. That's one of my favorite things about low elo, is how you can tell when they don't have hotkeys, because there's always that moment of hesitation. All right. Red Scout is in the south for some reason and just passed Blue Scout, which is very weak, but doesn't matter. Red Scout is auto-scouting as far as I know, because the way it's moving around definitely seems like it's auto-scout. All right. Now, if I were to guess, I would say we're going to see something like a market or... Oh, okay, never mind. We're seeing a mining camp. So you have 300 stone in the bank with Sicilians. And someone in chat might need to correct me, but the donjon is... Oh, the scout will go down! Tell me the scout goes down there. The scout goes down, ding-a-ring, ding, 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 ding from the town bell. So there's no ding with capture age. So ding, ding, ding. There you go. Yeah, it's 175 stone for a donjon. And like 75 wood. I always forget, man. It's so random. I think that's what it is. Again, chat's going to have to correct me on that because they changed it at one point. My brain's all caught up in what it was before. Wow, insane resources for red. And this could be a problem for blue if blue wants to do that. Look at this economy from red. Red has gold income. Red has an archer range. Red has a stable. And a barracks. So you could see spearmen, archers, scouts, knights. So it's 175 stone. Okay, cool. All right, now it's important to know that blue still has the scout, but blue's not really scouting the enemy. Blue's just scouting this way. And here she comes. And it's because he forgot to finish the house earlier, so he's sending one more vill over here. Okay. All right, so she finishes the house. Glad to see that job is done. Now we have another villager going over there to join her. Ooh, where are they going to go now? Telling you, if this is the same player we saw a few weeks ago, we're going to see donjons here in a second. And it would actually make sense to see the donjons next to stone because it also protects stone for more donjons. And then I think we're going to see a castle drop there. Remember, Sicilians build castles 100% faster. Build town centers and castles 100% faster, which I still think is too much, by the way, but it's fine. I told you! Okay, now, big problem for blue is that red's going to be in Castle Age soon. Big problem for blue isn't on the way to Castle Age. Doesn't even have the resources to go Castle Age. So this is all very slow. I like how the line of houses points to the donjon. What direction shall we build the donjon, sire? Just follow the line of houses. It will point you the way. All right, we have a market and we have a blacksmith. Maybe blue could sell some wood to get gold to go castle. There's donjon number 1. And this is not in range yet. Blue can actually see there's a vill there. And look, blue's going to make sergeants now. Now, sergeants cost gold. But sergeants can actually help build these things. All right. Now, what you can't do is set a gather point on a building like you can with other things to get them to immediately build. Don't they look really cool when they build, though, with the shield? I just think it looks awesome. But again, you're never going to see these things competitively because they buff their cavalier, as we see another one. Meanwhile, you've got red over here, and red's like, yeah, I'm completely fine. I saw that my friend said online is aggressive. I don't have anyone attacking me. I'm fine. And then, burr, burr, attack noise. Mill is being attacked. And now I'm really curious what red does to deal with this. So what you should probably do is think about castling this area to clear it up. So I would say send these vills and find a stone and go to stone. You could also, with that much gold, just buy the stone and then just drop a castle here. And then it'll shoot that down, but it'll also make it really difficult for the opponent to push in any further. But you could also just avoid the area for now and say whatever and just prep some military. And that's going to be the key. Prepping military. All right. We have the purchase of stone. I like it. And you don't honestly need to place it too far forward. Yeah, that's good. That's really good. Wow. 650 elo. Looks like they've learned a thing or two from over the years. I like this. Now, the scary thing would be if blue can make another donjon and you don't finish your castle yet. So I'd say you pull more vills. Yeah, this is really good. It's going to get messy here, but this is really good. All right. Castle will eventually go up. Maybe a villager or two goes down, but whatever. And blue has invested 175 stone times 5, which is just too much. That's what the math tells me. It's too much stone to essentially deny 25 food from a forage bush and then the stone. Sergeants go down. Villagers run away. Now, if this is something blue does every time, I'm really wondering what blue does when this happens. I feel like at low elo, blue might just resign. Right? Like, they try their strat. If it works, they feel awesome. If it doesn't work, they just quit. Look how fast these donjons go down. Woof! Okay, red needs to stop. What's up with the town bell here, buddy? Calm down. You don't need You don't need to do the whole town bell thing. You're in a good spot. Just make some vills. Red, you don't have any farms. I think it's going to bother Red if the other donjons stay there. Again, the logic's good. Just chill out. You've got a castle. Make some farms. Don't buy food. Just macro a little bit here, bud. Red, you're killing me. You've got 27 idols. There's no military here. Oh, God. Okay. There's still so many idols. Now there's 21. Okay, what's the plan for blue? So blue... Blue, in the next stage, Blue is making more sergeants. Really likes those sergeants. And is going to drop a castle here with 1 villager, which is completely fine. I would say you maybe want to deny the stone. And now Red sees this castle's going up, and Red really hates the sight of that castle. Red thought about attacking it, thought against attacking it. I think Red has forgotten there are villagers inside the castle at this point. That's the only explanation. And hey, there we go. And now where are they going? Red, you've got stone over here. I guess that's going to be awkward too. God, that told you this strategy freaks people out. This strategy stresses people out. They don't know what to do. Holy crap. Okay, Red, abandon. Okay, he says, you know what? Let's go to this stone. Okay, so he's going for the very far mining camp, which isn't the worst logic if the castle could maybe range the stone. I actually think the castle will not range the stone. Meanwhile, you've got some farms placed, but I guess Red hasn't checked this in a while because life is hard right now. Yeah, again, for blue, I think you should have maybe castled a little bit closer to this stone. Red's going to leave now. And, oh my god. I think blue is just obsessed with lines of dungeons and castles because there's no reason to make this in a line. You could just place it here and it has so much more coverage over the stone. All right, so we're going to have another castle right next to the first castle. It actually helps blue so much that there's this much stone on this map. Mega Random definitely gave him a good map gen. I mean, getting fletching would be really helpful. But here comes another villager. Again, Sicilians build these things very fast as we have a low elo castle wall. And honestly, I think Red is so stressed, I think Red is going to resign. Oh god, Red's going to drop the stone off and try and make a castle. Don't make it here. It's too late. Now, what would be the high-level play here is walk forward with like a knight and drop the castle right on Blue's face. Blue has nothing at home. But low elo doesn't think like that. Low elo is very reactive. It is like, oh god, he's got 2 castles. What do I do? Okay. Good job from Red. Red's like, I'm out of stone. I need stone. I need resources. And is going to find stone. That's actually really good. Hold on a second. I need to see how much stone has been mined in this game. There's been so much stone mined. There's been 4,000 stone mined in this game. We're 30 minutes in. Low elo. And we're going to see another castle now from Blue. This is more like it. Now, what's kind of funny is Red got chemistry in Castle Age, which is only possible with the Bohemians. And the chemistry fletching castle is ranging and shooting down Blue's castle. There's a very good chance that that'll actually go down at some point. All right. Kashtai, what's up, man? He says, hey, T90, do you have any info on when I can use the emotes on my gaming account here, too? I have no info. I would say... So I also don't have extreme details on essentially like what the changes are going to be in the new year. But I would say expect things to be as is for the next couple months. And then we'll see what happens from there. Yeah, all the communication I've got is that there's going to be changes at some point in like the new year. Okay. Blue is a TC over here. And is now researching Town Patrol. It's 49 villagers versus 37. Red's whole base is just the definition of stress right now. Red doesn't know what to do, but I think it's actually good for Red to just mentally give up on this area and then just focus on this. Notice how this TC and this TC are finally creating villagers. It's like Red remembered it's a normal game again. And we've got double archer range. If you had to guess, what would a low elo player make right now? Remember, chemistry was researched earlier. Bohemian's the only civ that can do that and make supplies. Why are you getting supplies? But you're making archer ranges. He's going to go for long swords? Okay, I wasn't expecting supplies. I was thinking hand cannons. Because after you get chemistry, you can research hand cannons. Okay, here comes blue. With 3 castles this time. Blue had... Or 3 villagers this time, sorry. It was 1 the first time, 1 the second time, 2 the third time, and now we have another castle. Now, if Red sees this, if Red's even paying attention to this, drop a castle here. You do not want to let him cut you off here. The problem is Sicilians build so unbelievably fast. I still don't think this should be in the game. 3 villagers building a castle this quickly. This is nuts. Yeah, you've got to drop your own castle here, and now it's too late if you're Red. And now Red has to abandon the area. Oh, boy. And another castle! Again, Blue does this every single game. 650 elo. I saw this player a few weeks back. Did the same stuff. Donjons and castles. It's honestly really creative. Because everyone knows castle drop... And a fast imp! Quote, unquote, fast. Everyone knows castle drops can be tough to deal with at a low elo. And, you know, Sicilians were introduced and build castles faster, so... Every single game. And it's not like Blue's execution is really good. Blue's had 18 minutes of TC idle time. But Blue's execution is good enough to freak people out and eventually, you know, get in the winning positions. Red is just so unbelievably stressed, and Red doesn't know what to do, as Red is now going to bring a relic to the corner. Okay, now here's the problem for Red. If Red was ahead in villagers, I'd say whatever, the castles are all in the same spot. Doesn't really do that too much to you long term. But Red does not have more villagers. Red is behind in villagers. And you have to think Blue is going to make at least 1 trebuchet and could eventually treb all this down, which will make matters even worse. Whew. T90, what do you think of Say My Name's insane performance against Viper and King of the Desert? He's always been really good. Based on how Viper was playing the first couple games, it doesn't surprise me. Yellow is a beast of a player. I'm bummed for him because he came close to beating Viper, but I think Viper's going to have to be careful, man. There's other players who have great talent, and I think he's got to take a different... He's got to approach it a little bit more seriously, I'd say. I didn't see all the games, but yeah, Say My Name is always been a beast. I've always been a big fan of his. The problem is I had to say his name and people say my name, and that's the only thing about him. That's the only thing about him I haven't liked. And I told him, I said, when you say my name, people say my name, and he said lols. That's all he said. LOLZ, lols. Because he used to be known as Yellow. He used to be known as VNS Yellow. Okay, good job from Blue. And Blue just went in here with a plan and is sticking to it. Blue has 4 trebs on the way, 1 out of each castle. And yeah, so Red's eco is going to get destroyed over here. Red is making hand cannons, though, which is very good against infantry that Blue also seems to be making. And honestly, Red is still in this game. If these 2 TCs continue to create villagers, Red is still in this game. If Red can get this relic and this relic, Red is definitely still in this game. Great job. I know Red is stressed, but I think Red deserves our salutes and respect for relocating and not calling it quits. Because a lot of people would have stressed out with all these castles and resigned, which is exactly what Blue wants. All right. Now, what's the plan for Blue? I feel like Blue's going to be so stubborn that we're only going to see trebs and donjons and castles. Again, perfect map gen for a player who likes to drop castles because there's so much stone. There's still stone over here. He's actually finished most of the stone at his main base, but he's got 2 gigantic piles over here as well. Now, what Blue might do is focus a lot on microing the trebs and making army and not create vills. So maybe there's a chance for Red. Red not creating vills throughout this time, which is pretty sad, but we do see horse color on the way at least. he research horse color at that mill, or was there another one? Oh, that mill. Okay. The Black Waltz is blue, overcommitted to the strategy. Well, that's what's beautiful about Low Elo Legends, is that they don't have a good balance. So it's been a really interesting start here. 60 population for red, who's definitely still behind. Blue, I think, is going to have to send out a scouting force to find out where the enemy is. Don't see any activity in the south. You have to assume that red probably ran to the north. Oh, yeah, Sicilians can get treadmill crane on top of their bonus? I forgot about that. That's crazy. All right. We do have hand cannons, which would counter virtually everything that is out there for blue. Castle Age hand cannons. You still would want to go Imperial Age at some point. There's so much stone in the bank. In fact, resources just overall are very high. Also, did blue steal the farms? I'm not sure, but it kind of looks like blue might have stolen the farms here. Now, there's still some red farms, so maybe not, but you could actually click the farm and it'll be yours. All right, so here go the sergeants for blue. Blue's going to make a bunch of houses. When I say a bunch of houses, I mean a bunch of houses. Blue, do you realize how many castles you have? Castles give you pop space. You don't need to have this many houses. Wait, so if he stole the farms, what time are we at? 45. Let's go back, actually. Because it has Sicilian food on the farm. It's got 550 food, so let's actually go back and see when this happened. Sorry, I'll take you right back to where we were. I'm curious. I know the TC went up a couple minutes ago. Okay, backwards, backwards, backwards. Okay, so at this point, the farm has 15 food, 25 food, 15 food. So let's see. He's going to build the TC. He steals the farms, and it automatically goes up to 600 food? Yo, that's sick. So you need a Teuton enemy to make a bunch of farms, and then you just steal them as the Sicilians. Okay. Anyways, we were at, what, 45 minutes? So just speed up a little bit. So nice that we can go backwards now. I feel like people take that for granted. That was never possible for so many years. And all right. So red's going to drop another castle and a farm. Nice. Red shopping a blacksmith, probably thinking about upgrades. Red should know that the pressure is close by. But blue doesn't actually know where red is right now. In fact, blue sees very little red on the map. Any red that blue can see is getting trebbed down. Look at that. Look at the mini-map for a second. All the red except for the lumber camp and the mining camp. Completely off the map. Okay, here come the sergeants. Now, blue knows a lot about the Sicilians. Blue probably doesn't face up against Bohemians all the time, and Bohemians are also rather new. So there is a chance that blue does not realize that the Bohemians can make gunpowder. There's also a chance that blue doesn't even know that gunpowder counters hand cannons. Okay, so here comes blue and is thinking, okay, I see Vils. That's good. Let's kill that. And now it sees a castle, and now it sees the TC and runs away. Naturally, what should happen as red, you've got to get out of the habit of ringing the town bell, my friend. All this eco went idle. That was unnecessary. But naturally, what should happen is blue just brings over the Trebs. Come the Trebs. Cosmic says, whoa, could you and your ally make farms that never have to refresh just by stealing them? Does anyone remember the video I have on that? So, I was Khmer, and one of my subs... It was like 1600. I think it was Termint. Was Teutons. And they sent a villager over to my base. And they were making farms for me. And then I was using the farms with Khmer. So it's called Farm Sling. And I have a video on it. And I just forget the name of the video. It's like Unbeatable Strategy 2v2. Man, if someone could find that. That would be great here. But yeah, so basically you can do that. It's very difficult to do because farms are finicky when you try and take them, but it is possible. Okay, so yes, hand cannons are good against sergeants, but you're going to need to also repair your castle here if you're red. And it just feels like red is still so far behind with important stuff here. And blue can afford to make more trebs, you would think, anyways. Same with sergeants. Gunpowder, not good at taking out siege weapons, just good at taking out infantry. And we're going to see another castle drop from blue. And it's going to be with 5 villagers instead of the 2 or 3. And that's actually perfect. Because if you have a castle to protect your trebs, the trebs can never be hit. This is perfect strategy. And then you've got more than enough sergeants. He could take this fight here, and he'll be fine. I think Red just got so stressed out by the strategy that Red fell too far behind. Okay, Red needed houses and starts to place houses underneath the trebuchets. The castle gets denied for now. This castle foundation actually creates a choke point for the hand cannons. And there's a lot of them. And wait a second, Blue. Can you make enough sergeants? Red with the micro here. Holy cow, these villagers are just doing their job. Don't mind them. Yeah, okay. It feels like Red just has to do so much work still. And sergeants do. Elite sergeants do have pretty solid base attacks, so... Here come the villagers. They'll finish the castle. The trebs will be protected. Villagers are going down as well for Red. All the hand cannons disappearing. Rip. Ah, someone linked it. Okay, overpowered new AoE2 strategy. Yeah, check that out. That was about a year ago, but we were able to use that strategy. So Torment 1600 1v1s and I'm 2k1. And we were able to win with that strategy against 2k1 players. The GG's called from Red. Red just realizes, I can't do this. There's castles everywhere. And what a strategy from Blue. What a crazy strategy. And I really wish the games were a little bit closer. But what do you guys think about this? I've only seen 2 games from Blue. I remember watching... I watched the first one because I saw his profile was only Sicilians. And then I guessed it would be Donjons, and it was the same thing. You had like 3 or 4 Donjons. And then you followed it up with a 1 or 2 villager castle drop. It just feels like at this elo, people are going to freak out so much and they can't stick to the basics because everything's right in front of their face and they're stressed. Someone says, reminds me of stomping the AI in the good old days. Yeah, right? Like dropping towers on the AI because the AI didn't know what to do. I just think it's a really good strategy. Probably not a strategy that can work super well if you don't have the other aspects of your game down later on, but behind that, Blue didn't have a massiveville lead, but it was enough. More wood, more food, more gold, more stone. I think Red overreacted when the castle went up. Right? The first thing I said when the dungeon started to go up here is that Red should go to stone and just take this stone before it got worse. And then Red ended up taking that stone, but it was too late a little bit later on. So that's what a tower rush does to you. It puts you under pressure. You have to make a decision right away. It's very, very common to see someone overreact or underreact against a tower rush. Perfect example. Perfect example. This Blue player is definitely one we're going to have to keep our eye on.